to provide some links. Look here. Yeah, looks like YouTube is definitely live. It's gonna make a notification. Stream. Switch link. Yes. Yeah, we are live on Twitch also. Great. So I'm just gonna ping that out to everyone on Discord. And let's see if that went well. It would appear so. Okay, good. Making sure everything's working. Let's see, so we have the chat here. It's a Discord chat which is prioritized, and then we have the chat coming in from YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and LinkedIn, which I've now been approved for, interestingly. So welcome back, anyone who's here already. This is another development stream for SynthVR. We're just working on SynthVR and sort of hanging out and talking about whatever's going on and whatever's next. And there's been quite a lot happening over the last couple of weeks. We've had a couple of more people join us. Let's see. Oh, hello, SLS. Thank you for posting a permanent link. Let me just have a look. There you go. What's up, everybody? So, what I figured, like a good way to just get started and get warmed up is have a little look at all the new stuff that is coming with the new SynthVR release, and I'm pretty excited to show this to you guys. Before I boot it, there's one thing I just need to do, and that is because I am working on the LFO module, which I'm sure will be very useful to a lot of people, but it just, in order for it to work properly for this demo, it needs a button here. So it won't look great, but we will deal with it. So here's the button, and I'm just gonna have to add that onto my interactions. Let's see, buttons. Here we go, and finally we need the switcher, and I'm just gonna double check that is the right order. Yes. Oh, wait a second. Waves first. Wave first, and then yes. Okay. So let's pause the music and boot up SynthVR. See what happens. We might need to wait for the Steam VR setup. Let's see. Looks like I had launched it already. Just need to wait for it to boot, which is fine. We can also make sure that this is maximized. All right. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn up the audio slightly so it'll be easier to hear it. All right. And we are making our way into SynthVR on this cranky gamer PC. I have an old second-hand gamer PC, and it's not always super happy with streaming. So we hope this is gonna work okay. So some new things to show you guys. One that I showed in the Discord chat is there's a noise generator now. I'm gonna call this series Just. So the idea is we have these like power modules, like prime wave, that's a power module. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, like it's got like dual oscillator setup and mixing in with like wave morphing and detuning, all these kind of things. So the prime series is like stuff that's supposed to do a lot. And I wanted to sort of find another name for a sort of more, let's say, utility series, stuff that just does small things. And so the idea was to call this Just Noise. And so that'll be the series of like utility modules. So here's the noise module. It can produce white noise and it can produce colored noise using a sort of an equalizer approach. So we can just listen to it. Obviously, white noise. That's what white noise sounds like. Is this loud enough for you guys? Can you hear it? What's up, Javier? How are you doing? Can you hear the noise? Is it okay? So we're gonna assume it's okay. Alright, that's white noise. Colored noise is where you want to either brighten or darken the noise. So here's colored, just neutral. And it sounds like white noise, as it should. And we can brighten that, or we can darken it. That's the idea. And we can control the level. Whoop, good stuff. What else can we do? We can, for example, we can use control voltage to control the color. So if we are doing color noise, we can control that. Like so. If that's interesting to us. You guys can hear it. Hello CDB. First time you make it for a live stream, that's awesome. We can control volume as well. Doesn't matter if it's white or colored noise. And of course, it runs at audio rate as it should. Everything in SynthVR runs at signal rate. So that's a slight difference if you're used to like max MSP or some of the other like signal processing programming environments. Everything runs at audio rate in SynthVR. So that's a noise module. It seems a little bit boring, but it actually it gets really interesting when you start like combining that with let's say filters. So let's just do white noise. We'll feed that to the speaker. We do winds, howling winds, or waves on the beach. Because when you add reverb, that becomes more interesting. Let me just do like that, and let's do another speaker over here. Okay, there we go. Some nice binaural noise, reverbed all the way up. Let's just juice it really hard. That's pretty nice. Of course, you can do sweeps and stuff like that if you want to. Do EDM sweeps. Whatever you want, really. Yeah, so that's like noise. And, you know, something that becomes quite fun is also to use noise as a percussive sound source. So if you're making hi-hats or anything like that, you know, let's try and filter the noise such that it could become a hi-hat. So we want like pretty high end here. And what we could do is we could run a sequencer like so. We're gonna run the clock in here. Let's run the trigger to an envelope generator. I'm just gonna sort of zoom through this. If there's any module that you're not familiar with and you'd like a bit more info, please just write in the chat and I'll be happy to go into it. So I'm just gonna feed the envelope generator to the frequency modulation input. And you can see we're doing something now. And all right, well, that's something. Okay. All right. We can also feed the value to the other frequency modulation input if we want to. You do colored noise instead. Maybe I just want some bright noise in there. And you know, like that, we can sort of start making this Kraftwerk style percussion, you know, just really like raw analog noise kind of thing, filtered to become percussion things. And you know, that's really fun. We have the extra white noise output, so we can feed that somewhere if we wanted to. It didn't sound as good as I imagined it would. That sounds kind of interesting. Very random because it's noise. All right. That's noise. How are you guys doing? Ambient mood noises. That is indeed what we can make, Mark. It's going to be nice. Mario, when is this dropping? It's going to drop pretty soon. So I'm just bundling a couple of things with this update, but I'm hoping to launch it this week. So you guys can have some fun with it. So let me show you some of the other things we have going on as well. So this is the noise module. Very good. Maybe it can stick around for a sec. Because one of the big modules that's come up is the prime echo. And so this is, well, it's not really space echo, but it's a delay effect with some sort of added fun stuff that I think you guys are gonna enjoy. Let's keep this noise we have here, and let's now feed it to the echo. All right, echo in. We see we have a couple of interesting things here. The option to actually sort of insert stuff into the delay, the feedback line. I'll show you that in a second, but let's first listen to just the delay. And actually, let me just, I regret deleting this now. Let me just, you know, feed maybe just a trigger to this. Okay, this is our raw signal. I know it doesn't sound awesome, but you know, let's see if we can juice it up. So here's the prime echo. We're going to turn up the mix. So this is going to mix in the echo effect. Now we have basically like half-half, original input and delay. We can turn it all the way, and now we're hearing only the delay. Let's mix it together a bit. And let's just go, let's increase the feedback. So this is how much of the delay sort of feeds into itself. And with that you can create these like interesting, really long tails to your sounds. Becomes more and more constant. Something interesting to know about this feedback implementation is that it goes beyond, it goes above 1. So that means that you can actually feed so much of the echo back in that it sort of starts like self-resonating in a way, and it starts like overdriving and going really crazy. So let me just try and you know, just turn the feedback all the way up and just stop my signal. The echo is just still going, right? It's just overdriving more and more. And now I'm going to change the time. This is fun to play with. Still have a bit of stuff left in the delay line. Let's turn the feedback back down. Let's start our little noise thing again. So obviously we can change the time here to whatever we like. And it goes to quite short times. From like milliseconds until I think like a few seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds. Let me just turn off the feedback. This is a really long delay. Okay. Another feature of the Prime Echo is it's got a coloration filter. So let's just do one sort of impulse with this noise thing now, and we can hear how that's sort of echoing out. I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit on my end so I can hear it a little bit better. I think this is what I need. I'm not sure if that's better or not, but okay. Oh, actually I need to do it in here from the index menu, I think. Nope, that didn't do anything either. Okay, well. Alright. Here's the color button. And what the color button does is it applies either like a high shelf or low shelf to the delay line, such that the delay sort of gradually either darkens or brightens as it goes along. So let's try and do something a little bit different here. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn the color knob, and what we'll hear is that the echo will sort of gradually brighten for each repetition. You hear that? I have the feedback way up high now again. If I just do this manually, you can hear it like slowly brightening. And if I do it the other way, you can hear it darkening. I think that's at least in the index headphones, it's a little bit clearer, this effect. I love that effect. I think it's so cool. Okay, that's enough of me goofing around with the filter. So the final thing that I want to show you guys that I really like about this implementation of the Prime Echo is the fact that you can do inserts to the feedback loop. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, you know how I told you that I have this color filter and it will either brighten or darken the delay for every repetition? Well, we can put our own thing in this loop and have that do something to the delay for every time it sort of feeds back into itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to instantiate a prime filter. And so what this will do, I will now take the send here, I'll feed that into the input of the prime filter. I'll take the return and I'll feed that back. So what's going to happen now is the noise, it's going to go through this filter, it's going to go into the echo unit, and then the echo unit is going to send it out to here to be processed, and it's going to feed it back and send it out again to the speaker, but it's also going to feed it back again and have it sort of go around in this loop here. And that makes for some interesting but also relatively unsafe effects. But that's kind of what I like about it. So let's do a sweep again here. Do it again. We can already hear that my filter here is doing something. Let me try again. Okay. Now what if I use a bandpass filter? Ooh, I only heard very little echo this time because the filter was so aggressive. What if I turn the resonance up? Starts screaming. Which is awesome. Okay. And what's happening here is, for every time this echo feeds back through, the resonance will sort of amplify a certain frequency of the echo, and it will feed back again and again and again and keep amplifying that one frequency until it just sort of starts overdriving and going nuts. So that's what's going on here. Now, something interesting that happens, let me enable some automation here again. Let's see. See if I can make this work again. You can hear the interesting effects that I can get out of this. The problem is when it's static, it keeps amplifying the same frequency over and over, which is cool, but it sort of spirals out of control very quickly. But what you can do is, if you then modulate the frequency of this filter it's coming through. Let's see, like this. Let's try like this. So you can start to do interesting things. Or, you know, you can do whatever you want really. So let's just feed another echo through the insert, because why not? So we're just going to feed that in here and in there. Actually, what we're going to do is we are gonna split it up like that. And so what we'll do is we'll feed this to the return, yes, and then we will just add together this and this. Okay. And now I can start to make these like interesting multi-tap delays, and it's so much fun. And that's just one of the things you can plug into this chain, of course. It's completely open, so you can plug whatever you want into there. Yeah, okay, that's it. And then finally, you know, you can control different other aspects. You can control the amount of feedback using control voltage. So whatever, you can control the mix. That can do interesting stuff as well. And the fun one is probably the time modulation. You can make these like weird pitchy effects. Or like wobbly, kind of walking echoes or whatever. There you go, endless fun. Endless fun. I love delays. Yeah. Let's see. Whoosh. Neptune, how would you be able to do something like a sweep with it? Yeah, you could use an envelope. And also something that is coming is the LFO. And the LFO can be re-triggered or like reset. So you could also use that as a way to automate really slow envelopes. Let's see if we can get that set up somehow. Let's see. I'm just looking here. Something that also has been added is a transistor. This is from request of Mug and Tom Cousin. And tried to replicate a sort of transistor symbol at the top. It's basically a gate, and what it means is it's going to let through a signal. It's going to let through this signal if this whatever value is coming in here is above a threshold. So if I just feed my noise here to number 1, at first I can't hear it, right? And if I spawn some knobs, there you go. Once it reaches above halfway, the gate opens. Okay, and so what's that useful for? Well, you can use it for example, let's do it like this. I could use it to let signals through using the value here, for example. All right, that's something that we can do. We can smooth this. Maybe that's interesting. And also importantly, you can use this for sort of advanced logic stuff. So that is also interesting. Yes, Mug is happy about the gate because that's you needed this for something, and I can't remember what it is. But let me just pull in the LFO and we can have a look at that one as well. Maybe we can look at how this could be used to create sweeps. Hey Chaos. Corona caused lockdown in Germany. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. And hello Jan Copier on Facebook. Hope you're doing well and glad you are enjoying. Okay, what are we doing here? We are looking for the LFO, which is here. Okay. Let's drop this gate again, and so let's take Neptune. Let's take your use case, and what you want is you want to trigger a really slow-moving sweep or something. Okay. So the LFO has the basic shapes. It's got sine wave, triangle wave, square wave. It's got a sawtooth going up. It doesn't render the sort of the ends a bit, so it looks a little different. And it's got a sawtooth going down. So maybe we want to do a sweep going up, for example. Okay. And so what we'd want to do potentially is we'd want to take this noise, we want to feed it through that filter, and we want to sauce it up with all sorts of stuff. Let's just add like a big effects chain here. So, okay, and I'm gonna make another speaker. It's gonna be a bit messy because I'm just sat in my chair here, but you know, we'll deal with it. We don't want all that resonance anymore. And let's try and just adjust some of these values a little bit so it becomes nice to listen to. All right. The right side seems louder on my end, but maybe that's just my setup. Okay. All right, so we can do this manually, right? Oh. And then at some point we'd cut it off. So, but let's try and see if we can use the LFO to trigger this. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the LFO output. I'm going to feed that to this CV input. We can control the speed. So we can hear that's already sort of doing what we wanted. All right. And this, oops. And this goes from a range of, I think, 30 seconds is the slowest, unless you use control voltage to sort of push it even more. And then up to, I think, about 8 hertz, 8 cycles a second at its fastest. And again, you can use frequency modulation to push that a little bit up. Layout is a little bit broken right now, but we'll deal with that. It's under development. The thing that's cool about just LFO, let me just do like this, is that I can use, I have a reset CV input for resetting. So I can keep like forcing it to go back to the start of the wave. And so what I can do is I can do a really slow frequency, and I press the button, and it's sweeping. Restart. Drop the bass. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, you can control the frequency here. Obviously, I guess the issue with this approach would be that you don't know when the sweep is done. So you'd have to have something to sort of stop it after a while. But I'm sure you guys would figure something out for that. Next theme, drop the bass. Only insane dubstep bass lines allowed. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Rambora on LinkedIn. Hello. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. We are developing SynthVR. which is a modular synthesizer environment for VR. And we have a lot of people here on the Discord sort of chiming in. I'm sorry I've missed a lot of your chat here, but yeah. One synth at a time, CDB, that's right. That's how we'll make it. We'll synth our way through the lockdown. That's what I'm doing. So anyway, that was the new modules. Please ask questions if you have any sort of anything to ask about it. Otherwise, I figure let's start working on some stuff. So what I was doing just before I came live was just working on this LFO, just LFO. And the thing that I needed to do was that I added a functionality for it to be either unipolar or bipolar. So I thought that would be nice. So either the output value of the LFO is like -1 to 1, so it goes from a negative to a positive value, or preferably you would want, in some scenarios, you would want to just have it in like a 0 to 1, like a normalized range. So I've added the option to do that. And just demonstrating it here, I realized that there was a bug with how the output is being calculated. So I'm just going to fix that now. This is the code driving a lot of the audio processing in SynthVR. It is open source, so if anyone is interested to participate in this project, they are very welcome to help me implement processors. We are working with something called the Juice framework, which is a C++ framework for making audio apps. And so that's what we're doing here. So what I'm just gonna do here is I am just going to write to this this little LED at the bottom. So I'm writing sort of a value that it can pull, so it can figure out, well, if there's supposed to be any light or not. And I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do once per audio block. We're just gonna feed a number in there. So let's try and do that. And I need to close Unity to rebuild this audio library. So yeah, chaos, new modules. There's loads. There's a gate. There's an echo. There's a noise module. What else? Yeah, and then there's the LFO, which I'm working on now. I'm just trying to wrap up the LFO. Something else that we will need, we can do it while we wait, is we will need to update the faceplate for the LFO. Javier is gonna help me work on this. So we're expecting great things, or at least it'll be great to get Javier involved in making some of these faceplates. Just so it's not always me. I'm not that big of a graphic designer, so I do my best, but I am I'm a sound guy at heart, so I like very simple, functional user interfaces, which is probably not bad, but sometimes you need a little more jazz than that. So what I'm just going to do here is what I'm looking at is the faceplate for just LFO. And we're going to move this button here. I'm going to move that over there. Okay. That's the frequency button, frequency knob. Chaos says I spent Last night assigning all notes. Oh man, that looks like hard work. Hey Danny, you're on Facebook. Hope you're doing well. Okay. This button is gonna be called Bipolar. Okay. So if this is on, the thing is gonna be bipolar. So in case you are not sure what that means, let's see if we can manage to draw that. This is where my drawing skills really sort of come into place. You can really see some true artistry. This is a line. We can have a wave going on there, and the middle point is 0 plus 1. If a wave goes out here, it will push your speaker. So if you have a speaker here, this is roughly how my speaker looks. And it's got a little thing like that. Here we go. So like if the signal goes up, that'll sort of push the speaker outwards. That'll move air around, and that's what makes it so you're gonna hear a sound. And same goes, it'll sort of expand air, and same goes for when the waves go this way. The speaker is now moving inwards, and that will cause air to compress, and that is also audible. So this is how sound, in a very sort of simple way, gets created in the speaker, and sort of how that's reflected in the digital signals that we're producing. All right, so a bipolar signal, pretty simply, is just a signal that goes above and below this middle point. So typically a sine wave will look something like that. And what it will do sort of physically is that it will move a speaker cone outwards, and then it'll pull it back in accordance with this pattern here. And that produces the sound that you know is a sine wave. But for example, if you're doing a sweep, like Neptune was asking about, what you might do is you might want to say, well, my filter is already at the base setting that I want, and so I just want to add on to that value. And so what unipolarity does in the LFO is it sort of, instead of having the signal being from 1 to -1, so having it in this range, it'll restrict it to be just in this range. And so what it'll do is it'll make it so that the middle point of a sine wave is now 0.5, and the bottom is 0, and the top is 1, like that. And where that's useful is if you're doing these, for example, upward sawtooth waves, then it'll start at 0, and then it'll move up until it gets to 1, and then it'll reset down to 0 again, like that. So it'll be in this range. If it had been bipolar, it would do like this, basically, which was what I did just before, but maybe you prefer it to be in this range, and that makes more sense. You can choose your baseline frequency, and you can add on to it with the LFO. So that's what this button is going to do. It's going to make the signal bipolar. Okay. And that's it, really. So what I do here is I just export, and I'm gonna do just LFO controls. So I typically export these such that I can place them in 3D. So I can place the dials and buttons in 3D. And my process for this is typically that I move back and forth between trying to lay it out in Illustrator, and then taking it into VR, trying it out, trying to figure out how close things can be together, just to make sure that it feels good to use it. And that you're not accidentally doing things you didn't intend to do. All right, we will export that. And I will also export the one that will actually be shown in-app. which is without any controls. So we will do this. Boom. Save. Okay, we're good. And what we should have now is an updated audio library and an updated LFO graphic. So let's reopen Unity and have a look at that. So Chaos, what are you trying to do with the notes? Are you trying to make it so that yeah, I'm not sure I understand. Are you gonna have a bunch of are you doing the Megadrone? Is that what this is about? In which case I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. We are doing the LFO. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show the controls. So now I can go in here in VR and I can just align these things. Basically, I can align this button with this. It doesn't look completely right to me, but we'll go with it for now. No, it's not right. Why is it not right? I'm gonna try and put it here. Okay, and we are going to do the frequency button. We're gonna put that at the same position as this. Okay, and so that should be it, and we can go back to this. Now, there we go, we can see, I'm not sure if this is aligned or not. Sorry guys, I just gotta make sure it's yeah, okay, it's aligned. This isn't it? No. Oh, that's because it's left aligned. All right, fine. Oh yeah, Javier. Yeah, this is how I've been doing it so far. So I guess the part you wouldn't have seen is like once I've laid it out, I will like have it yeah, basically like this, and the sort of placeholders in my Illustrator file have the correct size, and so I will go in and I will replace all of them. I will position my stuff on top of it to make sure that it all fits. It's taken some trial and error to sort of figure out how close things can go together and stuff. But I think it's okay now. Chaos. I like to work with notes to create harmonic melodies and so much more. I've now created something like a piano which contains all the notes. With the sequencer, you can now play complex melodies. What? That sounds insane. Please post something about that. I wanna see what you're working on. We just have to have a look at this. Oop. This is, oh, okay. So this is like a okay, so this is that would have been a lot of work to tune all these oscillators. Well, okay, well, nice work, dude. Looking forward to hearing that. All right. Let's just test that the LFO is working as intended. There we go. We're gonna maximize this so you can see what's going on. And what was I doing here? It's not making any sounds anymore. Oh. Right. Let's clear the session. And actually I'm gonna have to unmaximize this again, and I'm gonna pull in the LFO. It's not in the menu system yet, so that's why. And where is it? There it is. Cheeky little LFO. Good. So how do I test this? I'm going to use the prime wave. There we go. I'm gonna feed that to speaker. Whoop. Good. Oh. Sorry guys, I need a filter, otherwise it's gonna drive me crazy. So we're gonna put all this here. Okay. So let's feed the output. I don't see any blinking, which is I don't feel like that's working the way it's supposed to. Okay. Now let's feed the output into the frequency modulation. So this is unipolar. We're adding on to that frequency. Okay. And if I make that bipolar, we're going way below, way above. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's try and feed the clock to just reset it once in a while. Good. Cool. Let's modulate the frequency of it somehow. What happens if I feed this back into the FM? Gets a little weird. Let me use the oscillator. You can do interesting things with this. Ooh, it's lagging. Okay, there we go. That's a little better, isn't it? I like stuff like this. Dope. All right. That was awesome. Okay, so The only sort of problem remaining is that the LED isn't working. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, boy, I know what the problem is. The problem is that the LED is listening on the wrong parameter. So the juice module writes the LED value to parameter number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Output display. Let's just have another go at this. Yeah, CDB, it's a lot of power. It's a lot of stuff all at once. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. There we go. It's much better. Dope. That's what we're gonna stick with, I think. Except that whenever the oscillator has a negative value, we're also the LED doesn't really handle that, so we're just gonna make sure make this an absolute value. So if the oscillator value is 1, we'll write 1 to the little light, and if the oscillator value is -1, we'll still just write 1 to the little light. So there we go. We will close Unity once again, and we will redo the audio library. We won't save this. And I think I'm gonna move just LFO into testing. Another thing that's happened that it's not visible, but behind the scenes is an optimization where most of the modules now check the different inputs. So if there's something that could be like a computation that could be skipped, it will skip it if the input, for example, isn't connected. So one example of that is like for the LFO. Well, if you haven't connected the FM control voltage input, then there's no point to like calculating the modulation and all this stuff. So just sort of skip over it. And these kind of things hopefully will help you get just a little more juice out of the Quest. So hopefully you can just get just that little bit more performance out of Quest, which is as you know, very crucial. Quest is a great platform, but it's highly limited in terms of like computational power. So we have to be very careful about how we use it. Great, we are back in the game, and final test, which is gonna verify that this actually works. Okay. And the way I'm going to test that is going to make it pretty slow without resetting it. I don't know if that's confusing or not, but basically when the oscillator goes down below 0, it'll sort of light up again if it's bipolar. If it's unipolar, then it's simple. think it's pretty nice. Cool. I think we're good. Okay, well, let's add the LFO to the menu, because that is all that is needed now. So the way that we do that is we gotta take a picture. We gotta take a pretty picture of the module for the menu, so you can see what's going on. And so I have this separate Unity scene set up for that. And the way that works is I just put it in here, and basically it'll spawn that module. There we go. And all done. That wasn't so hard. And what it will do is it will let me try and get to it. To render that picture, and I'll place it here. So there we go, and we now have a pretty render of the just LFO. We can make it into a thumbnail. This can be automated, but you know, it's it works for now. Don't want to automate something just for the sake of automating it. Just only want to do it if it's actually useful. Okay. Chaos is complimenting the group on creativity when it comes to processing. It is really incredible. I mean, also you, Chaos, the stuff that everyone's coming up with on this in this community is insane, and like above and beyond what I thought would be possible. Like I had no idea you could do these things. I had no idea you could make a more than 8-step sequence. But then you guys sat down and you figured out how to like use utility sequencers to switch in between other sequencers, and it's incredible. That's all you can say about that. It's completely incredible. Yeah, 64. It's insane. What we're doing now is just we're setting up some info stuff for the menu. I'm just realizing now this picture is too big. It's not going to be consistent, so I'm just going to re-render it. Volume down a little bit again. Please, music not so loud. Yeah, no problem. I'll turn it down a little bit. Is it better, or is it still like super loud? See you, Javier. Have a good one. Alright, guys. Let's set it up. This is the just LFO. Whoop. It just works, as you say. And in here is where I put the different info that will appear in the menu. So we have some sorting data, and so this is the categories that it belongs to. So this is definitely not an audio source. This is a control source, and I guess that's it. I guess it's just a control source. And it belongs to the Just series, and the maker is 42 tones. Okay. And let's save the description for later. To do. I'll do this. So in here I just have to write how to use the thing. So in case you are like in SynthVR and you're trying to figure out like how do I do this, then you can use this text. So let's put that in the menu. And the way that I typically do that is I go to the menu and I add it to this list here. Can't believe there's already 38 modules. It's a lot. So we are at 39 modules now. A lot of them are logic modules, utility stuff, but nonetheless. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to add that info we just made. We need to add that to the list of stuff. That was in here, just LFO. We're going to add that here. Let's override. And we would expect now to see soon there'll be 380 modules. At this rate, CDB, yes, there will be. All we need now is for someone to get really excited about the open source repository and like start implementing modules and implementing processors for SynthVR. And then it's like gonna go and it's gonna explode. Probably. People like it and want to play it anyway. Okay, let's have a look. We're gonna go to control sources and we now see just LFO. And there's no info in here yet. And also the picture is the wrong size. But we're almost there. We are almost there and would love to have a go. Don't know how yet. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. It does take a little bit of getting into it, but you do get a lot of stuff sort of done with the Juice framework. So with you do have a lot of like stuff that works out of the box, and you can sort of connect together different DSP modules. So it's not too bad. There's some interesting things that might happen, but I'm still waiting for some confirmation about some external technology before I can go into detail on it, of it. Okay, I'm gonna need to add this updated picture. Can you sticky the framework on Discord? Oh yeah, sure. So Mario, it is at SynthVR modules. We're not quite there yet, but it's so far we're set to sort of follow the same sort of process that you do for VCD Rec, where you implement some code and you set it up as a pull request and get it that way. Chaos. The question came up, would it be cool to have an extra space where you can provide the patches for download? That sounds like a cool idea, Chaos. I actually already made the patches channel. I made it today because by coincidence, I was scrolling through the feature request channel, and I saw that Michael had actually posted about it. Have a good dinner, CDB. Probably go for a little bit longer, but not a lot. Okay. So that is just LFO is just done. And it just works. So that's everything we want to hear. I'm gonna commit my work. And I'm gonna have to close Unity to be able to do that, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, Chaos, maybe we should make the patches channel like an exclusive channel. I kind of like that idea. I want to keep stuff open, but it won't be long before we have in-app patch sharing. So might be a good little incentive to help out and donate to be able to get access to the patches channel. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, you also have maybe work in progress stuff. Yeah. I see. Tweaks for LFO. So we're gonna commit that to SynthVR modules. So that will go on GitHub just right now. So if you're interested in checking out the LFO implementation or noise or anything really, you can go and have a look. And we are going to finish the feature. Finish feature, just LFO. A bunch of stuff going on here. So one of the reasons that I'm actually doing a pretty heavy sprint on modules right now is that what I want to do next is implement better patch sharing, and what something that will require is actually some backend services. So setting up some cloud services for hosting patches, writing all the sort of logic, the networking stuff for SynthVR to interact with the patch server and all this stuff. And it's going to be a little bit of work. So I'd like to just get a lot of cool stuff out there right now, and so people have something to work with while I, crunch away at the patch server. I'm going to start a release as well. What number are we on right now? 010. Okay. I'm going to start a release for modules. I'm going to say 020. And what's in this release? That is the noise and the LFO. So we're going to actually just finish that release straight away. Oh no, wait, we need to update some stuff. I'm just gonna reopen Juicer here. The Pro Juicer, this is like the Juice management tool for Juice applications. So in here I can sort of see my groupings, I can look at the code, but I can also set settings for how it should be compiled to the different platforms and stuff. And what I am looking to do is I'm looking to just bump the version number on here, just to be good. Yeah, that's all really. Waiting. Chaos already browsed the GitHub. Oh, awesome. Awesome, man. I'm glad you liked the project. It's really so awesome to see all of the effort, especially now that we have the what's it called? The rich presence. Sometimes you can have a look and you'll see someone on the server, it's playing SynthVR, and then if you press, if I press Michael here, you can see, oh, this person has been playing SynthVR for hours, which is really incredible, and in a way sort of humbling that people like to spend so much time, especially when it's VR and everything. So I'm really happy with that. Bumps project version. Go. Bump it up. finish, release, finish, release. Add some LFO and noise processors. Obviously, the SynthVR modules is sort of just like one part of the project. It's the part that's easy to open source, and also the part where it's really awesome to open source it in case people sort of help out and people are interested to make their own stuff, which I'm really hoping for at some point that we can get to that. The architecture of SynthVR is most of the audio processing is driven in this audio library. And then we have a quite huge VR app. So this is like the Unity app, and that is using the audio part, but that's sort of the main place. And now the new sort of moving part that we're gonna have is the patch server. So that's gonna be really interesting as well. Okay, good. Modules updated, cool, and we will need to update this as well. So implements just LFO. Description to. I'm just gonna do that later, just before the release, to keep things a little more exciting. So, sorry about all this project management. I get to go in here and now say the LFO is officially done. We'll move it out. And on the long list of stuff that we need to do, the LFO is now done. Still a lot of stuff to do, but it's coming up. And if we're looking at the sort of near-term plans, the stuff that I want to do next is I want to get to work on these tooltips. So having an option to get some more detailed information when you are twisting a dial, to sort of know a little bit of like what's the value of this dial and stuff like that. Or how many hertz am I setting on an oscillator right now, stuff like that. We have patch sharing. This is a big one. Being able to share patches that you made in SynthVR through a patch server. Then we have labels. Not really sure how this is gonna be implemented yet, but we're gonna need some sort of way to for you to sort of annotate your patches. And so either we're gonna do that with maybe sort of virtual writing where you can sort of scribble something in the air, or we're gonna do virtual post-it notes where you will use an in-app VR keyboard to sort of put in some text. But I'm not quite sure how to do that. We'll have to examine it. And on the very near term, I have this stuff here. Module duplication. This has been asked a lot of times, and I think a lot of people would really like this to happen. So let's start doing it. Module duplication is next. And what we want is some sort of easy way when we're making stuff to get another one. Sounds like the music is a little bit loud. I'm just going to turn it a little bit down. And so if we go into VR here, what I sort of want is when I'm moving stuff around, right now if I press the modifier button, that is this button right here, the bottom button, I sort of schedule something for deletion. So I sort of turn small, and when I release my grip, it disappears. Post-it notes, yeah. I think the post-it notes is the way to go, to be honest. For duplication, what I'm thinking is I've started to experiment with this like click and double click. So what if instead of you clicking once to delete, you like double click to delete, and if you single click, like click, and then you get a copy of whatever you were holding. And I think that would be pretty cool, especially if it could be made to also work for racks. So if you have like some stuff in here, whatever, then if I like click once, the modifier button, I get like, I sort of leave a copy of this where I am currently, or something like that. I sort of trail a copy behind. I think that might be a good way to do it. So that's what I'm gonna try. It's either that or somehow disabling the teleport button when you are when you're holding something, just sort of disabling teleport. And so if I'm holding the module and I press the teleport button, then I duplicate. But that also is difficult to understand, I think. Cool idea, but this change again, I save so seldom so that I have already deleted before I copy one. I'm sure I understand. Not sure what you mean, Chaos. You save so seldom. Yeah. I guess the problem with I guess the risk with having delete and duplicate on the same button, if one is like single press and the other is double press, the risk is that you accidentally delete stuff that you liked. That you were like, oh, I didn't mean to delete this, I meant to duplicate it. And now I'm really pissed because I just duplicated all my work. I just deleted all my work. That would not be very fun. So maybe we should do something else. We have a couple of buttons we can use. The problem is that whatever mapping we sort of go with, it's gonna have to work somehow cross-platform. It's gonna work. So these two controllers, they are pretty much the same. They have the same layout, but the Vive controller's got a very different layout. I'm just thinking about it. So I'm moving around my module, and I want to have. You have the Rift S. That's the same controller, isn't it? It's the touch controller, I think. Maybe trigger. What if I when I'm moving, if I trigger, I get a copy. That seems pretty easy, and you that way you could sort of whoop, 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 and you could like place a load of modules. I think I feel like I want to try that. That's what I want to try. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to have to finish this feature. Finish. And I'm going to start a new one in a second. Something annoying with native libraries in Unity is that Unity will lock the file, so you can't use it. You can't do stuff with it when you. Let me try that again. What? Merge conflicts not resolved yet. Let me go back to. What? Okay. Discard. Okay, go back to just LFO. You get used to whatever, yeah, that's true. Such is the way of life. You start using it and then that's just the way it is. That's why it's important to try and get it right in the beginning, especially. Because once people has gotten used to it, it's actually already too late to get good feedback on it. You really need sort of an unbiased first impression from a user to sort of really get if the thing you made is friendly. And then after a while, people learn. Like users, they're smart. They figure it out and then they adapt to however it was set up. Okay, we can safely reopen Unity. So let us open up Unity again. Some other things we have coming, comparators, I don't know. Sort of an extension to the logic modules to be able to output a value if it's above or below something. It's gonna make stuff a little more programmable, which I know some people in the community likes. Personally, I like some logic modules, but I don't use them loads. We also had a request for exclusive NOR and NAND, two special logic operations. Right, we're back, and hopefully we are now in a good branch. We are, so let's start a feature called module duplication. And so I'm gonna have to think about a little bit how this is gonna work. So here's a case. It's got a script to move it around when you are grabbing it. And I guess what I want to do is I want to make a script that will look for a certain button press. And do something based on that. Let me just have a look, because I have some stuff from earlier that does this kind of thing. I think the menu does something like that. So I'm just gonna have a look because I've already forgotten how that works. So the menu, okay, so the menu just gets the input, a direct reference to the input tracker, and then it can sort of check the buttons from there. And what we would need is when we get picked up, we would need to have a way to find the input tracker for the controller. So how are we gonna do that? Let's see. We're gonna extend the interactor. Can we do that? Oh yes, we can. So we're gonna extend the interactor scripts. And that is utilities, and we're gonna go to we have some extension classes here, and what we want is we want interactor extensions. We already had that going. So, oh, well, it's already done. I saw it. So we don't need to do that part. What I wanted was an extension method for an interactor to get an input tracker, and we already have it. So what that means is that we can make a script. Let's go into interaction. Let's make a interaction that's called XR. What are we gonna call it? This, and we're gonna say XR duplication interaction. That's how this is set up. Each thing that you can do with your controller is called an interaction in this setup. And XR duplication interaction. Okay, is that a value producing interaction? No. Is it an automatable interaction? No. Well, it might be. It's like it's like an event. Is it a resettable interaction? No. You can't reset duplicating something. So we're going to. It's gonna have an owner. It doesn't even need that, does it? We actually just. Oh yeah, we need to know who our owner is. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, but we'll figure it out as we go along. So we'll definitely want a reference to the object that needs to be duplicated, because probably we won't necessarily in this script be like top level of the object. Maybe we have a rack we want to duplicate that. So we're just gonna get rid of all of this. Don't need any of this. You don't need the interactable. Private XR base interactable. Okay. This is sort of the object that is interacted with, and this is sort of this gets activated by the controller. Okay, so try to find that, and we will sign up. So when let me just think about this. Yeah. So when we have select on this interactable object, we will call this function. Oh, good. We don't need any of this. We need this. Interactor select enter. Interactor select exit. Okay. So what we're wanting to do here is I'm missing a bracket. What we're wanting to do here is to make it such that once you've started moving the thing, this is select enter and select exit. This is sort of the actions that happen that trigger that you want to sort of start moving stuff around. Once that happens, we want to know about it, and then during the time that you're moving it, we want to look for a button press. So, chaos, where did you learn all that stuff? I'm trying to read myself a lot, but that's another number. Oh, you just gotta do it. So for me, I just I read about it. There's some good books about audio processing that you can read. I also have a background in audio engineering. And then the sort of the programming part of it is just like trial and error for years. I think I've been doing Unity programming for 4 or 5 years now. And then in 2016, I made a VST plugin as sort of a practice thing. So I made a VST plugin to try and sort of get my hands dirty a little bit with signal processing stuff. And I just gave it away for free. So, you know, it's just, for me, it's just been like loads of hands-on experience. And at a certain point, you sort of, you get pretty comfortable. You get pretty comfortable in it. So we're gonna set up a boolean to check if this thing is currently being selected, and we're just gonna sort of make that a flag here. Currently selected true, and currently selected false. Maybe we don't even need this, but let's have a look. So the extension method that I was talking about is such that I can get the input tracker. And I will need to import synthVR.utilities in order to use this extension method. Input tracker, get input tracker, there we go. So private input tracker. So this is the object that it lives on the controller, and it's sort of tracking all the different inputs that we have. So we can lend this tracker for a little while, and we can use it to figure out what's going on. So what we can then do is when the interactor, that will be one of the controllers, when it selects the thing, that means it grabs the handle, we will then mark this variable, it's selected now, and we're gonna grab the input tracker for this controller. And what else are we gonna do? So now we have that, and we are just when the controller stops using the thing, we will forget about this input tracker again. And what we'll then do is we'll say in the update loop. So this is Unity calls this for every frame that it's gonna try and render. What we're gonna say is if we're gonna check if this thing is currently selected. We will want to we're gonna check if for a button down event. So we're gonna check if a certain button has been pressed, and we want to make that a variable as well, so we can actually select that in the inspector. So that is input helpers button to duplicate. No, let's call it a duplication button. There we go. So if the duplication button has been pressed, this is what we're gonna test. Has the duplication button been pressed this frame? Well, if it has, then we are actually we're just gonna invert this logic here. So we're gonna say if it if this thing currently isn't selected, then let's just return. Let's not do anything else. Okay. So we're gonna check for the duplication button. And what are we gonna do? We're going to duplicate this object. So how do we do that? Object to be duplicated. Does it have a duplicate function? No. Let's search the interwebs. I guess it'll be with instantiate. Yeah. Instantiate. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll use instantiate. This might not work. Let's try. Let's see what happens. This seems too good to be true, but we'll try it. Okay. If the button is down, duplicate whatever object that we want it to be duplicated. I'm not sure about this. Okay. Well, let's give it a shot, eh? So we'll take the case here. We're gonna now add the duplication interaction. The object to be duplicated is, okay. The object to be duplicated is this whole thing. No, it's not. We can't do that. Can we? No. It's all the way up here as we want to. Yeah. Okay. That's annoying. It's a bit of a lapse in how the modules are structured internally. I can think of a quick hack to accomplish this. Which would be just duplicating a parent. That doesn't seem very clean at all, but we can just try it and see how it works. So we're gonna say, if we've set this flag, which is duplicate parent, then we're gonna find the parent of this game object, whatever it is, and then that's what we're gonna duplicate. Okay. I really have a feeling that this is not gonna work, but we'll give it a go. So I have this flag now, duplicate parent. I'm just gonna switch it on. And what's the button I'm gonna go with? What button are you gonna press to duplicate? And what you're gonna press is the trigger is what you're gonna press. Okay. Let's see if it works. Technically, every module should be duplicatable now, but I have a suspicion that this is not gonna work as expected. So, here we are. The module seems to still be functioning, which is good. Let's try and add some stuff here. Yep. Okay. I'm now gonna do this and press the trigger. What? Okay, well, nothing is happening. Thumbstick could work. That definitely didn't work. I don't know what Vive users are gonna do. Maybe they're gonna have to forego the duplication. They might not be able to use it because they have less buttons on the. Let's try thumbstick, and that is primary 2D axis click. Alright. It's not gonna do anything. It isn't doing anything. I think I'm gonna need some logs to see if... Oh, wait a minute. What? I don't understand. I think I'm gonna have to check the logs. Anything interesting? Except for a couple warnings. Seems fine. Okay. Is it that it worked, but I just didn't see it? Position, so what if I can place it? I'm just gonna say parent is this object here, and we are going to create the parent, but we are going to create it at the that same position and that same that same rotation as well. Like that should technically work, I think. See what happens. Okay. Thumbstick. It's not doing anything, and I don't see any. What? I see a bunch of oscillator modules. They're from earlier though. So I must have managed to create some. Oh. They're all down here in the ground. Okay. Is it that easy? Is it that easy that we just need to position them correctly? Which would be insane. Insane in the membrane. What? Get this might be not so good, but we just can try it. Just in the interest of testing, we're just gonna make this a little vulnerable to accidentally making a lot of duplicates. Okay, so we have our session here. I'm just gonna clear it. So let's go ahead and clear. Okay. And my oscillator. I'm gonna press the thumbstick, but nothing happens. Did I create some oscillators? Nope. Why not? I can delete it. Might not be tracking it correctly. Is it because that button isn't being tracked right now? In which case we could just try another one just to see. Oop, I accidentally did something. Did I accidentally select secondary 2D axis? Let me just try trigger, just to understand what's going on. Okay, here's the thing. Ooh! Ooh! So many modules. Problem. Beautiful. My computer does not like this at all. It looks like glitch art. Okay, so we know that works. So why didn't menu button? What? Why didn't that other approach work? Primary 2D axis click. We're back. Ooh, here they come. I gotta clear it. Clear. Okay. Oh, stop. Stop. I don't want them. Okay. Phew. All right. All right. Well, it's okay. So it's a problem with how this thing is tracked, which is something that can be fixed. At least that's good. I just can't remember how that part works at all. Is it that it doesn't feed it in? Damn, girlfriend forgot her keys in the apartment. Oh. See you around, Chaos. Nice hanging out with you again. It's because it's not being tracked. But we are using the joystick for something else, so maybe we should use, what should we use? Primary 2D axis up. Let's just try and stick with the trigger, just for the fun of it. And I'm gonna go back to this get button down. The cool thing is that I think the rest of this just worked, which I am surprised and relieved at the same time. Let's just have another go at this. So here's my noise module, and I press, okay, it stopped working again. And why would that be? Did I select the wrong thing? Let's have a look. Case. Oop, it's still on primary axis. Let's use trigger instead. Let's have a look how that goes. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, man, I'm surprised. Well, this works, kind of. What? That's awesome. And I assume they will connect and stuff. Okay, and okay, and if I, awesome. This is awesome. Okay. Well, that's it then. Just gotta do the same on the Rex. How do I do that? I have a rec thing set up somewhere. Rec. Where is it? Rex. Floating rec, and it's got all the stuff, and now it'll also have the duplication thing. Duplicate. It doesn't need to duplicate its parent this time, it can just duplicate itself. Like so. And a duplication button will be trigger. I am very interested to see if that'll work. All my stuff loaded. Okay. Let us make a rack. Boom. There we go. Let's put some stuff in it. There we go. Beautiful. Except for the fact that it's like it breaks the it breaks this somehow. Okay. There's room for improvement, but it almost worked. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's end on a high note. It's 9 o'clock and we got a lot of work done. We had some fun and we made progress, and that's all you can ask for, really. So I'm gonna check out, get some sleep, and get ready for a new day tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.